Okay, so our first part is just identifying which ones these are. So this first shape, let's go over here. Gabby, what is this shape?
Cylinder.
It's a cylinder. Okay, over here, Mario, what do we call this one?
A pyramid.
It's a pyramid. What shape is the base?
A square.
It's a square. So we generally call it a rectangular pyramid then, but I would probably accept a square pyramid as well. Okay.
Come on, Jeremy.
Good?
Oh, I knew it was Jeremy.
Okay, and
That's all
then
we get
Alex,
right.
you know the next one?
That's sphere.
It's a sphere. Yep.
You got
Okay.
some language papers?
I do not. Let's go with Malik. You ready?
Like.
So, this shape, what is the base? How many sides does it have?
They got like 7 sides.
So let's count it again.
No, I'm tripping. 6. No.
Do you remember what we call a six-sided object?
A hexagon?
Yep, so we have this as a hexagonal.
I'm tripping. I said 7.
And then is this a prism or a pyramid?
That's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid. So guys, just a nice reminder. Pyramids come to a point at the top. Prisms have rectangular sides. Pyramids have triangle sides. Okay, so we're now over here. Dion, how many faces does this have?
7.
It has 7 faces. And then let's go over here to Lanaya. How many edges do you have? Okay. So we have edges. How many edges do we have? We have 1.
I got 12 edges.
12.
Yep, 12 edges is correct.
I know.
Okay, our next one up. Bree, what is this shape?
Cube.
It's a cube. Does anybody know another name for this? We have one more name we can accept.
I got it. I got 3D square.
3D square. Not the one I'd take,
Square
though.
prism.
It is a rectangular prism.
Rectangular, that's what I meant.
So we have a rectangular prism here.
Then the other one is the doorway. The other shape.
Okay, so we're over here. Alicia, how many faces do we have?
4.
So you have the 1, 2, 3, 4. What about the other?
6.
Yep. 5, 6. So it's all of them. Yep. So we have 6 faces. Okay, Brandon, you're up for the edges.
12.
So I'm going to count them anyway. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're correct with 12. And then we are back here. Raya, what do we call this shape? It is indeed. Triangular prism. Okay, Fluffy, how many faces does it have?
5.
It has 5 faces. And then Jeremy, how many edges do we have?
9.
Yep. We have 9. Okay, so yes, you will have questions just like this on your quiz. Exactly like this. So when we find slant height, we are interested in finding what is essentially the hypotenuse of this figure. How do we find that? So we have a theorem that lets us do this.
Something VH. Is that right? Do they got VH in it?
Not this time.
Oh, never mind.
It's a theorem we've worked a lot with. This is a right triangle. And with right, we're going to be using the Pythagorean Theorem. For this time, I'm going to use it as L for my slant height equals, and then I'm just going to put A squared plus B squared. Okay, so we're over here. Jaden. So what is our A? 16. And what's your B? 30. Okay, so when we multiply those together, Reggie, what do you get? Actually, let's do them in parts. What's 16 squared? Yep. 256. Now I'll have you add the 256 and that 900. Okay, do you want to square root that for us too? Just because you're already in it. So we square root it to find that last part. 34. Yep. And then remember, this is going to be in inches, so we write the little inches sign next to it. Okay, so Dylan, you're up next. We're finding that same idea. So we have L squared equals A squared plus B squared. Let's just pause it. We're here, you have L squared. So Dylan, what is one of your A's or B's? Which one do you want to do first? Okay, so what do you want for it? 10 squared. What's your B? Okay, so we have 10 squared, which is 100. What's 24 squared? 576, that we said?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to just finish this one up? What's 100 plus 576? Going to give you 676. What's the square root of that? $26, yep. And then when you guys do this on your test, don't forget that little feet. So our first part here is a prism. So this is our first formula I taught you. It's 2b, where the capital B is the area of the base, plus the P, which is your perimeter, times your height of your prism. Your second one is a cylinder. This one is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And then over here you have a cone, which is pi r squared plus pi r l. That's your slant height. And then over here for pyramid, we have the base plus the 1/2 perimeter times your slant height. With this, I just want to remind you guys, the second half of your formula here is your lateral area in each of these. So when they're asking for your lateral area, it's the second half of each of these formulas. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to clear the slide and we're going to move down. Okay, so our first one here, what shape is this?
Prism.
It's a prism. Okay, so we need to use the formula of 2, let's change my color, 2b plus ph. Okay, so b is the area of my base. So we find that area of the base right here, length times width. So 3 feet times 5 feet. I'll pick back up over here in 1 second. So that's going to be 15 feet squared. So Gabby, what is the perimeter?
3.
So you have 3 and 5 and
14. Wait, are you multiplying it?
you are adding it.
14.
So 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. You're a little off.
What?
16. 16 feet. Okay, and then we have our height, which I'm just going to give you, is 3 feet. So Gabby, we're going to have you finish this part up. It's 2 times your base of 15 feet squared, plus our perimeter of 16 feet, plus our times our height of 3 feet. So 2 times 15, I'll do for you. That is 30 feet squared. What is 16 times 3, Gabby? 48. Okay, 48 feet squared. 48 plus 30. 78 feet squared. Okay, so your total surface area, this one here, is that 78 feet squared. Your lateral surface area is the second half of that, remember? So that's this portion. So it's this part of your equation. It's this part of your equation. So that means your lateral surface area is 48 feet squared. Are you guys okay with how we got that? Any questions? Is that okay? Okay, so our next one, Mario, what shape is that? It's a cone. Okay, what's our formula of that?
Pi r squared plus pi r times 7.
Yep. So what is your radius?
8 inches.
8 inches squared plus pi 8 inches times my L of 11 inches. So Alex, what's 8 squared? Okay, so you have 64 pi inches squared plus 8 times 11. 88 pi inches squared. Okay, so what we're going to do here is you have to add those together. So 64 plus 88. 152 pi inches squared. So that is the exact answer. For this question in the directions, says they want your answer rounded to the nearest whole number. So we're going to now put that in as 152. Hey, Bree, we'll actually have you do this. 152 times pi. So if you want to put that in your calculator, hon.
Oh. Do what?
152 times pi.
What is that?
477.5, like that.
Yes.
So we'll round that up to 478 inches squared. And then the second half of this is your lateral area. Remember, that's your second part of your equation. Right here, all of this. So what is 88 times pi?
276.4. I mean, like, what would it be? 0.5, 6.
So 66, so it'd be point. We'll go 0.4 for now because it's with the 6 and we're going to round to the wholest number. So we'll just, go 276. Ooh, let me try that again. 276 inches squared. So again, that's coming from that second half of that equation. Okay, guys? Next one up. You ready? Those of you in the back, Dylan, can you see the number 11 from there? Do you want me to bring it up, Fire? I'll bring it up, Fire. Malik, what shape is this?
Cylinder.
Cylinder. What's the formula for a cylinder?
2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h.
Exactly right. What is your r in this equation?
3.
Yep, so give me 1 second. I'm going to write it out. 2 pi r 3 inches squared plus 2 pi r, which is at 3 inches, times my height of, what's my height?
6.
Yep, 6 inches. I ran into that other problem that does say 6. Okay, so what is 3 squared?
That's
9 times 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is?
Oh, wait, 9 times 2, that's 18.
18 pi inches squared plus, and then I do this one in segments. So what is 2 times 3?
2 times 3 is 6.
What's 6 times 6?
6 times 6 is 36.
36 pi inches squared. Okay, we're going to add 18 and 36.
We're going to add 18.
Yep, what do you get when you add 18 plus 36?
54.
54 pi inches squared. Okay, so we're going to go on to, let's do Lanaya. Lanaya, what is 54 times pi? 469.6. So this is approximately 469.6, which means that's going to round up since it says round to the nearest whole number.
Wait, pause. That's not what I meant to say.
Okay.
Wait, did you say 469? I meant 169.
Okay. 169.6, like that? Inches squared? Hey, I trust you. Okay, so that goes on to be 170 inches squared. And Lanaya, you're also going to do the 36 pi inches squared, which is approximately 113.1. So that's going to be 113 inches squared. Okay, so I'm going to erase the little part of this that ran into my problem. So I'm going to erase this part right here. Is that okay? Okay. I'll do the times 6 below. I'm going to change my color. Go with red or purple. And I'm going to go like this. Okay. So here we are now on to Dion. Dion, what shape is this? It's a prism. Okay, so our prism formula is what?
2b plus pH.
Plus pH. What is my B? So B stands for what?
Base.
Area of the base. So do you remember how to find the area of a triangle?
Yeah. Is it base times height divided by 2?
Divided by 2. So 1/2 base times height. So in this triangle, what is this length right here?
Wouldn't it be 6?
It's going to be 6. And this one over here is?
8.
Yep. So what is your base and height of that triangle?
Do I have to do the thing theorem? Or the,
Not yet, no.
Alright, the height is 9.
So the height of the prism is 9, but what's the height of the triangle? So if you're just looking at this triangle here.
10.
So the 10 is your hypotenuse. So
8.
it's going to be 8. And then what's your base going to be?
6.
Exactly right. Okay, all over 2. So what is 8 times 6 divided by 2?
24.
24. Okay, so Bree, we're to you. What is the perimeter of that triangle?
6 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10.
So we don't need the 9, just the 10, because it's just the triangle at the bottom. So what is 6 plus 8 plus 10?
24.
24. Okay, and then we also have, what's our height of the whole figure? You have it. Okay, 9 meters. Okay. As a group, we'll just finish this one up together, all 4 of you. So we'll do 2 times my base of 24 meters squared plus my perimeter of 24 times 9. Each of these should have meters attached. So what is 9 times 24? 216. Okay, we combine those. What is 216 plus 48? 264. So this becomes 264 meters squared. And then again, your lateral surface area is the second part. That's the 216 meters squared. Oh, let me actually clear my slide. Yep, a rectangular pyramid. What is the formula for a pyramid? Okay, so maybe somebody else in your group can help you out. Formula for a pyramid?
B plus 1/2 E slant.
Yep. So let's calculate B, Mikhail. So what is the area of your base? So your base is going to be that. 6 feet times 6 feet, which is 36 feet squared. Nice job. Okay, and then I'll have you do your perimeter. What's the perimeter of that shape?
24.
Yep, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, which gives you 24 feet. Okay, Brandon, you ready for this? Put on your boots, bud. It's going to be some work. Okay, so here, you have to find your slant height. So how did we find the slant height in the first part? The first 2 questions on our last 2 questions on the first page. What did we use? That's right. We used the Pythagorean Theorem. So we're going to find L by using L squared equals A squared plus B squared. Okay, so what is your height of this triangle, Brandon? 4. And then the other part is finding that base length. So it's just from the center of your triangle over. So what is the length of that part? So just this bottom part right here. Let me highlight. Just this part here. So how much is that going to be?
3.
It's going to be 3 because it's half of that whole thing. So then you have 3 feet squared. So what's 4 squared, Brandon?
12.
We'll try it again. You got this.
Oh, 16.
16 feet squared. What's 3 squared?
9.
9 feet squared. 16 plus 9 is?
25.
Yep. And then what's the square root of 25?
5.
Yep. So we know our slant height, L, is going to be 5. Okay, so I need some space. So I'm going to move over here. I'm going to change color so we can substitute in. Okay, Licia, you ready?
No.
So what is your B value? Capital B?
36.
Yep, 36. So we now are going to use this formula. We have 36 feet squared plus 1/2. And then I'm going to erase this problem. I'll unerase it in a minute. So it's 1/2 And then what's your perimeter?
24.
24 feet times my height, or my slant height of? 5. Okay, so what is 1/2 times 24 times 5? Okay, so what did you get there? 60 feet squared. What is 36 plus 50, or plus 60?
96.
Yep, 96 feet squared. And which part of that's your lateral area?
60.
Exactly right. Nice job. 60 feet squared. So again, remember, she got that lateral area from the second portion, and that's where that came from. There we go. Okay, I need to pause. So what shape is the base? Let's start there. And what type? Is it a prism or pyramid? Mm-hmm. You have it right. It's a pyramid. Triangular pyramid. Remember that the sides are triangles. It means it's a pyramid. And then whatever the base is. So what is the formula for a pyramid? Okay. Yep, slant height. I'm okay with you using L. Okay, so this is our formula. But we need, I'm going to draw just the base again. Okay, guys? So I'm going to draw this shape right here. I'm going to draw it right here. Because you can see where this is going. 4 feet, 4 feet, and 4 feet. So we know what the base of this triangle is. What's the distance of the base, Raya? So of your, oh, they actually told us. I did myself a lot of work for this problem, but it told you what's the area of the base? You're right. So ignore what I was going to do. When I did mine, I did a lot of more work. So it's going to be 6.9. 6.9 feet squared plus 1/2. What's your perimeter? So 4 plus 4 plus, which is 12 feet squared. And then what's your, just 12 feet. And then what is your slant height? It's a little hard to see, but it's drawn in there. It's 6. Okay, so what is, let's do our second half first. So what is this portion? What is 12 times 2, or times 1/2 times 6? (36 feet squared). Okay, so that is going to be which one? Yep, so that's your lateral surface area. And then what is your total surface area? That's going to be the 9.6 plus the 36, guys. 42.9 feet squared. Okay, our next one up, we're going to Fluffy. Steven, hon. Yep, and what's the formula for a cylinder?
I got it. The formula is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r n. 8.
Thank you for H. Yes. Okay, so, oh. Let me just move my mouse. Okay, so while this goes and he's moving my mouse, we're going to go over here. So what is your radius in this, Steven?
20.
So your whole diameter is 20. How do you find the radius? It's going to be what? 10. Thank you, sir. Inches squared plus. And then we have 2 pi, my 10 inches. And what's your height?
14.
Yep, 14 inches. So 10 squared is what? 100 times 2 is?
200.
Yep, 200 pi inches squared. And then you have 14 times 10 times 2.
We kept breaking. 280.
280 pi inches squared. Okay, so 200 plus 280.
480.
Yep, exactly right. So now we're going to Jeremy.
Hmm.
Okay, so what is 480 times pi?
Let's go 19 times 8.
880. Exactly? 880? Okay.
And then at the
And then what's 200 times pi?
280.
It's going to be 280 pi. What's 280 times pi? Okay, so when I did 480 times pi, I got a different number, guys.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, so, you know, Jeremy, why don't you borrow a calculator from one of your buddies?
Not bored.
Thank you, guys.
I'm not wasting time.
Okay, don't argue. She was trying to help you.
I'm not trying to.
I have meant that to both of you.
It's just like,
No arguing between the both of you.
how you do it like,
Nah, 1,508.
1,000 points, whatever.
Yeah.
It was a higher number over 6?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you told me it was 1,508?
Yeah.
Okay, then what is it going to be 180 times pi?
Hey.
That's where you got the 880? Okay,
She doing her.
pi. Oh,
What's the number after 1,507?
I put a number sign. He didn't tell me that number. He just told me it was a number greater than pi. It was 9, thank you. I was like, no one told me it. Okay, so our next one up, we're going to Jaden. I need to clear the slide. Is anybody still writing this one down? Okay. Okay, so what shape is this? It's a rectangular prism. And what is our formula for that? Okay, so how do you find the area of this base? Exactly right. What's 4 times 4? Yep, 16 yards squared. And then we have the perimeter. So what's your perimeter there? Exactly right, which is? Yep. Okay, so now we are at, let's go to Dylan. Dylan, I'm going to have you plug this into your equation. So we end up with 2 times my area of my base, which is? What's the area of my base? So that's at 16 yards squared plus my perimeter of 16 yards times what's the height in this picture?
6.
6. Okay, so what you're going to do right now is what is 16 times 2?
32.
Yep, so 32 yards squared plus 16 times 6.
96.
When you add them together, what do you get? 32 plus 96?
Yeah, 20. Oh, no. You get 128. 128.
So your total surface area is 128 yards squared. Which part of that is your lateral surface area?
96.
It's the 96. Thank you for the assist. 96 yards squared. Okay, we are on to our last 2 problems. So this is a pyramid. What's the formula for a pyramid?
B plus half. I don't know what the P stands for.
That stands for perimeter.
Perimeter
Times.
times length.
So L is that slant height. Okay, so in this equation, we need to find the B, which is the area of the base. How do you find the area of the base? Yep.
5,
Times.
5, 5,
What do you get?
25.
You get 25 meters squared. Okay, over here, you also need the perimeter. What's the perimeter of the base? So remember, perimeters where we add up all the sides. So you have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, which is 20. And then what is your slant height?
7.
Yep, I'm going to have you finish this one up. So when you substitute this into your formula, you end up with 25 meters squared plus, and then you have 20, or what? 1/2 times 20 meters times my slant height of 7 meters. So what is 1/2 times 20 times 7?
You asking me?
Yep,
7.
it is 70 meters squared. So of those, which one's your lateral area?
25. Wait.
So it's the second half. So it's going to be the 70.
So 7
And then what is your total surface area? You add those two together and you get 70 plus 25?
95.
95 meters squared. Okay, and then we're going to go back up to this first group. And we're going to finish it up strong. So we are looking for, what shape is that? Ah,
That's a cone.
it's a cone. So what is the formula for a cone?
Yeah, that's on, I got it. No, I got it. Pi r squared plus pi r l.
Oh, I did not mean to say cylinder.
It's okay. Okay, so pi r squared plus pi r l. And then when we're here, we know our r is what value?
What? 6.
It's going to be the 6. So 6 centimeters squared plus pi 6 centimeters. What is your L?
Oh, what's that? 8.
So 8 is your height.
Uh,
So what do we got to do? Got to do that Pythagorean theorem.
no.
So slant height equals 8 squared plus 6 squared. 8 squared is what?
About
64. What is 6 squared?
36.
When you add 64 and 36, what do you get?
100.
100. What's the square root of 100?
10.
It's 10. So then we put that 10 in over here. So now you have 6 squared, which is?
What else? 36.
36 pi centimeters squared plus 6 times 10, which is?
60.
60 pi centimeters squared. So we want to add those together. What is 60 plus 36? Anybody in this first group can answer it.
What did you just say?
36 plus 60.
That's 96.
96 pi centimeters squared. So what is 36 times pi?
What you just say?
36 times pi.
113.09.
So 113, that works for me, centimeters squared. And then what is our lateral one? So that's your second half, 60 centimeters, or 60 pi centimeters squared. What's 60 times pi? So-
188.65.
So let's try this again. So what did you get for your surface area?
Jesus.
302?
Oh, man.
302. And then what is your lateral? 188. Okay. And then it rounds to 188. Okay. Centimeters squared. Okay, so this is our total thing.